Welcome back to episode 2 of the Australian Sporting Cartel podcast. Once again, joined by the man of the hour, the king of all kings, the rugby league GOAT analyst himself, Mr. Parmigiana Playboy, Luke White, member 2 of the Australian Sporting Cartel.
It's a pretty strong endorsement. Thank you.
Huge, isn't it?
Sir.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Great to be here.
Welcome, yeah. How does it feel, man?
That feels pretty good.
Yeah. How does it feel that the season has wrapped up? And we've come...
It's that happy, sad feeling.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Like
100%.
you spend 27 rounds trying to figure out if your team's going to be the team that plays on this glorious Sunday. And then regardless of whether they are or not, it comes to the day and it's like, well, this is it until March. I mean, you've got the Pacificas and you've got the preseason and stuff, but...
Doesn't hit the
This is a
same.
regular season
No.
cartel. This is a regular
Yes.
season podcast.
We-
This is a
we
regular
spit-
season
We talk in facts
Yeah.
and figures.
and absolutes.
We don't
So
But
yeah.
be serious. We talk real footy. I mean, we talk based under the... We talk sort of around the basic understandings of the season about what's going on. That's what we do. Yeah, we analyse and we go deep into what happened and what we enjoyed most about the 2024 season. So let's get in that time machine. We're going to jump back 6-7 months to the start of the season. First game. Who was that again? Was it Penrith?
I don't
Penrith
know the
store.
first game
No,
but
it
the
was
Roosters
Vegas.
Pumped the Broncos.
It was Vegas. The first game played overseas. We've gone from Haberfield to Sin City. Unreal. Did you ever think rugby league would ever hit the shores?
I didn't, and I'm a massive UFC fan. So Vegas is sort of the
Place
know,
to
the
do it
place
in.
for
Yeah, man.
you know, the UFC, right? It's the
100%.
home of fighting, and yeah, it's not that I never thought it wasn't possible. It just didn't, like, the dots weren't there to be connected. Like, I never sat there and thought, gee, I can't fucking wait for Andrew Abdo and Big Pete to, put the game in Vegas.
Yeah,
It just,
100%.
It was just like, what?
You don't think about it. It's not something you do think about because it's...
I'm there's a few people that are like opposed to it or that complain about it. Social media and the rugby league space. But man,
The
it
wet
doesn't-
blankets.
mate. It doesn't look any
Bunch of wet
different to me.
blankets.
Like
Yeah.
whether at Vegas or whether they're at Combank, whatever the fuck it's called now.
Allegiant.
Combank.
What?
I don't know. It's always
Combank Stadium. Yeah, Western Sydney.
No different.
Parramatta Persuasion.
No, it doesn't look any different to me, man. So it is what it is. but
Footy's footy. Regardless of where you play, the rules don't change. Nothing else changes.
I think the one thing that kind of annoys me is that, like, it's that split first round.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird, wasn't it? Having to watch the games at like 11 o'clock in the morning, round one, that just felt weird. That's why I've completely forgot about it. I was like, yeah, Penrith Melbourne, that was the first game. That was the first game on the Thursday after.
I'd like to get to a point where they incorporate the Vegas round and the normal round together.
How'd you do that though? It's
Well-
on completely different time zones. It's fucking hard, man. We were grateful enough to be able to see it actually come to fruition this year. How they're able to plan it.
Jet lag's for pussies.
Yeah.
Get
guess
some
I'm a pussy then.
melatonin. Get in an ice
Yeah,
bath.
get some Ativan.
Eat, pray, love.
You sleep on the plane, can't you?
Burn some essence. You'll be fine.
Burn some frankincense.
Exactly right.
Get some yoga in you. Get some enlightenment. That's what you need.
Little Murdoch media, and you're back to reality, man.
Penrith, they struggled in that first round. They came flying across from St Helens, from
Yeah,
Midlands
World Club Challenge.
of England. World Club Challenge. They lost that. That's like the second year in a row they've done that, haven't they? Wow.
Sure.
Isn't that? Do you reckon it's the conditions?
I reckon it's
Jet
jet give
lag.
a fuck. I just don't think they
I don't
care.
think they care.
It's just
Well, they played the same team. There's your Nathan Clearys are playing. Your Jerome Luais are playing. So
the fact that the World Club Challenge is always in England, it's like,
Well, they it used to be each year they would rotate, wouldn't they? They'd alternate, and it would that's how it would be. It
Played a
would,
game out here, didn't they?
who did?
The Super League. They played a couple games
It did. Yeah,
out here before.
interesting.
Like,
I wonder what the proportion of
Was it
Super
this
League
season
fans think
or-
about the NRL. How do they look at the NRL? Do they watch much of the NRL? You'd think they would, right? It's the apex of competition, rugby league competitions in the world. You go to the NRL. If you're from the Super League, with all due respect to the Super League, if you're a real gun there, you come over to the NRL. Is that how they see it, or do they see it as just a different challenge, regardless of skill?
I've asked my British and even Irish friends who like it, and what my understanding is, rather than them be hyper fixated on rugby league and the NRL, there's probably a number of people there, but the majority are just either anti-football, as in soccer, or they're just so pro rugby union and rugby league. Like not that this is a rugby union podcast at all, but like the Australian competition,
crumbs of union,
like it's not really that great. It's not considered a really good competition.
Not an elite competition.
They fuck on there. Like it's 100%. Massive. It's huge. And I just think,
absolutely,
you've got a market for, that, and then an extension rugby league. And I think that's more so than
two completely different sports.
I don't see, someone in the south of England, in Southampton, saying, "Gee, I wonder if Jamal Fogarty's back this week." Like, no offense to Jamal Fogarty, but I just don't think.
I know.
You know what I mean? So
100%, I get you. Yeah, it's different. It's completely different competition, different fan bases.
I guess it's
a lot of the allegiance is to their heart, to where they're from. I don't give a fuck about the NRL.
I guess it's no different to us too. Like, we've obviously got the A-League, that's our national competition, but I love the Premier League. So like, I'm going to follow it, I'm going to watch it, I'm going to, by extension,
it's a lot more.
Leagues, etc.
It's a lot more entertaining.
Yeah,
a lot of the talent that's on show, showcase of ability and skill, and just the money that's put into it, and the attention it gets from the world. Like, that's the world game. That's football.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
No, spot on.
Once you get rugby league it's a competition that it's a very niche market right now. Like, there aren't many. You wouldn't see really many Americans talking about rugby league, or many Europeans. You get some British people, but it hasn't evolved to a point where it can be a popular sport in countries that haven't really established it as a proper sport yet. They really haven't played. Like, they play rugby league in Italy. They do. Greece.
They have a competition in America.
100%. Exactly.
They
the
also
Tomahawks. They got the national team, the Tomahawks.
Toronto Wolfpack.
The Toronto Wolfpack.
Even though it's Canadian. Was in the Super League for a bit. So,
but it just doesn't have the traction. And I don't think it will. I enjoy it. I enjoy this little niche market. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, but if I'm a Lindsay Collins or a Moses Leota, I'm a big bopper who's going over to Vegas. I might be able to play some footy, but I got casinos. I got the strip.
There's a lot of tempting shit out there.
100%.
Yeah.
So
it entices people.
Yeah.
It's the idea of Vegas.
Probably more exciting for the boys to get over there on an official capacity and
of course,
run amok on a PG level.
Regardless, I mean, it was a couple interesting games. The South Manly one, I think we really got a window into South Sydney's season early there. We saw a lot of complacency within defence and a lot of confusion in the halves. Like, the halves problem was really fucking them early.
That was shit.
Jack Whiten, he was useless in the centre. He wasn't, not that he didn't play that game, but I meant throughout the season.
Jason Demetrio, Rabbitohs 2024, did not want to play rugby league.
No, they were woeful. It was shit house. Just to see where they came from.
Season to forget. Started the red and green.
Yeah,
optimism ahead, but tough season for Rabbitohs fans.
Rebuild, just one more rebuild. They got the GOAT coming back. He knows the culture of that club. He knows it well. He's going to make a few brutal calls. He'll make some very, very tough calls regarding players' futures, but ultimately he'll make the right calls, I think.
What do you think? What do you think specifically about that? Expand.
I think there are a few players he won't see in his future. I think Shaq Mitchell's gone.
I was going to say, I want you to name them.
I'm not naming them. I don't want to make assumptions yet. That's the thing. I don't want to assume that a certain player will have a sustainable future at the club. But I think at the moment there are a few players on the chopping block. And Tane Milne, I don't think he's got a future there. His discipline issues are fucked. I don't know what he's fucking doing. I mean, he's not even that talented. I haven't seen him do anything insane.
Well, I mean, Campbell Graham was out all year.
He'll be back. He'll fucking
back. Jack
walk
White
in his spot.
Or Latrell.
Milne's gone back to reserve grade. I
thought the biggest highlight for the Rabbitohs this year, aside from their little streak of wins, was Jai Gray playing first grade.
Oh yeah, he was so good, wasn't he? Glimpses of magic.
He wasn't really considered for the Rookie of the Year.
He could have been though.
Euro
Kale era. Dude, like,
Old mate from Canberra.
yeah, Strange, he was all right. Showed glimpses. Bostock ended up winning it, though. Jack Bostock.
I'm not mad at that.
No. Scored a few tries, didn't he? Scored some great tries.
He scored a lot of tries quickly and then kind of tapered off.
He was
Khan Pereira was a bit more consistent. But
well, that's Khan Pereira now, the new Alex Johnston.
I thought Bostock was maybe going to crack the 30 mark for the year. He was on track for it in the
I don't
beginning.
think anyone's cracking 30 anytime soon. Alex Johnston, the last player to crack 30, 2022, 21, something like that.
I reckon Khan Pereira's got a shot.
30 next year. Big call, but I can see where you're coming from. Given, it really depends how the Titans go. The Titans are firing.
Well, if you play 24 games a year, that's one try a game.
Yeah.
Now, for some wingers, they average that anyways.
You just fall over the try line, don't you? It's a set play.
66-6, that could come at any point.
He could really explode next year.
Well,
It's a big probability.
I'm not saying he's going to get 30 next year. I'm saying he's the short money favourite for the next person to crack 30.
100%. I can't really see anyone else getting close.
Maybe Noah Tawase.
Yeah.
Or
Jermaine Asako.
Big Mark. Nah.
He
Saka
scores a
won't.
fuck ton of tries, doesn't he, though?
He's not cracking 30.
Really?
Nah.
He scores a lot of tries. Underrated try scorer.
Consistent,
Very underrated.
but
Very
he's
consistent.
not cracking
It
30.
depends how the Dolphins go. Would you rather see Bostock or Asako scoring 31st?
I see the Hammer scoring 30 before
Oh, at
Asako.
fullback. When's the last... Have we ever seen a fullback score 30? I don't think so.
Turbo would have come close in 2021.
He got 28. That's as good as you'll get, honestly. 28
Yeah, but he
tries.
did miss a
Fuck
few
me.
games. He missed about 6 or 7 rounds.
He played a total of 18 games that year. 28 tries, 28 try assists.
Yeah, so
the
if he
glaze has
He
started.
played another 3 games.
Keep glazing him.
He scores another 3 tries. Easy.
I wonder who the next winger for Penrith's going to be. Who they're going to fucking bring in to just slap up the competition.
Be interesting.
They always seem to do it, don't they? They can't. They've always got a decent winger. Josh Mansell, maybe.
Maybe one of those McLean boys.
Mm.
Because I could see Talangi playing in the centres.
Blaze, I was thinking 5'8",
He could do.
because he has played 5'8" a bit this year. And we'll talk about how the Eels went, of course, but in relation
Well, there's
to
not much to say. They were
Penrith.
shit also.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
This year, if we're going on grades, based on merit of performance, how they performed last year, and given certain circumstances, what grade would you give Penrith?
I give him a B.
B. Yeah.
I felt like
Because you know what's funny? This in relation to the last few years, this has actually been one of their least, I guess, the least memorable years where they haven't played that consistently well. They still finished second. That's what they fucking
But Luai showed he was a consistent player for them this year. But
he picked up the slack.
Nathan
he picked up the
Cleary
slack.
and Dylan Edwards ran that show, and they both missed significant portions.
100%.
And this was the first time a Penrith team with a significant player out, you go, okay, there's an effect here. Now, like previously, I wouldn't say it was as big an issue. I don't think Cleary had ever missed so much time before.
Don't think
The
so.
odd game
He
for
never
Origin.
missed. I don't think he ever missed like
More than a game.
more than 13 games in a season. He's missed half the season this year, which is fucking insane.
So
It's two separate injuries as
they
well.
get a B for me.
Give a B. I'll give him B plus. Given the fact that Cleary was out for so long, your main halfback, your main dude, the best player in the world, and Dylan Edwards as well.
Yeah, but you look at the way Ivan Cleary's coached this side, very disciplined, very structured. How many times this season
They've looked.
the Great Escape?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like
Grand
and
final last year, the Great
That's why.
Escape.
That's why I'm not giving them anything like an A. When you finish second, your mind automatically goes to I'll give them an A.
There's only one team that gets an A for me this year.
Melbourne.
That's Melbourne. Yeah.
I'll give them an A plus. Fucking insane, dude. They didn't have Munster for
Can I
half
go
the
that high?
year.
Can I give myself an A plus? Because I would.
Yeah.
That's
Easy
a Donald
A.
Trump meme, by the way.
That was a good impression. You got any other impressions? Got nothing.
I was being quiet. That was my impression of the Parramatta fans. Got nothing to cheer about this year. Sorry.
Let's talk about Parramatta.
Sorry. No.
We're going to delve into your downfall, if you want to call it a downfall.
I wouldn't say
Can't
it's a
really
downfall.
can't call it a downfall when you're already down.
I would
can
say
you?
it's they had
2 years,
band-aids on
Fuck.
things. Like I remember we were watching a game of football earlier this year. It was a random game. It might have even been the Para-Penrith game. I can't remember specifically, but that's not the point here.
Would have been that one.
The point was, I said to you, I think Clint Gutherson is overrated. He's not a top 10 fullback. And you did what most reactionary fans would do, and you shot me a look saying, not a top 10 fullback. And then I just said, it's no hate to Gutherson, but listen to this. And I started rattling off names. Tedesco,
Yeah, exactly.
Trbojevic,
Well, here we go.
Edwards, the Hammer.
Yeah. Well,
Walsh,
because of the
Ponga.
emerging talent now, you're thinking about players that are coming like Jaden Campbell
But
and
the point,
Keanu Kinney. They're starting to come through.
well, the point I'm making is, for the longest time, Parramatta have had the nucleus of their squad, and they let go of Arthur. They had some injuries. Moses missed a lot of football,
You got to remember, I'm blindsided by recency bias.
and they were not great.
Gutherson was in a grand final 2 years ago. And regardless of the result, he was integral to how Parramatta performed that year. He was great. But now that I think about it, he's getting older. And there's a lot of young talented fullbacks coming into the fray that are really withstanding the pressure and are really stepping into their element. Like Scott Drinkwater. 2-3 years ago,
Fantastic
I wouldn't even
season.
put him top 15. He's top 5 for me now.
Yeah, he's had a really good season.
He's Kalen Ponga's won a Dally M. Turbo, when fit, is one of the best players in the world. Tedesco. AJ Brimson is an underrated gem. He's fantastic when he's on. Really dynamic with the ball at his hand. He's always popping up. He's always there. There's Latrell Mitchell.
So,
Making a top 10 fullbacks list
but I'm just saying,
is difficult in this day and age now.
Darcy
What makes
asked
a
me the
fullback
question,
so good?
Parramatta.
Yeah.
Just the band-aids, they didn't work anymore.
They lacked a lot of focus in key points of the game, and I think that was a consistent theme for Parramatta. Forwards not putting in the work for their halves to really excel
And
in attacking areas.
I didn't understand the thought process of making Trent Barrett the interim.
Silly, yeah,
Trent Barrett does not have a good record as a head
shocking.
coach. He's
You couldn't have said
really
this,
not
seriously. Shocking
up to
reputation.
the standard that's required in the NRL, because it's not once now; it's 3 times he's been sort of found out.
Oh yeah,
I don't understand why they didn't try and make a play for Jason Riles straight away.
so you are adamant that Brad Arthur was not the man from the start.
No, I'm saying if you sacked him,
Okay,
like, why
would
would
have
you
just
put
got
Trent
Riles
Barrett?
straight away.
Yes,
It's all
exactly.
contracts and stuff.
Look at what
He's got to settle in. He's got to just
Look at what Brisbane
he's got to
did.
come to the club. He's actually got to look around the facilities and say, this is the environment I want to be in immediately.
But look at what
Gotta
Brisbane
cook.
did. Kevin Walters, latest coach, should be sacked from the club. Got an extension not too long ago, and he got replaced for someone that is
By
substantially
far
better.
better coach. Yes.
Right? So if your preference was to remove the person in charge, rather than put someone in there that on their best day isn't up to the same standard, right? And I'm just being
Yeah. You're being real here.
being realistic.
Hey, you got to be real.
Trent Barrett is not a
No.
good first grade coach.
No. He's a people pleaser.
So Parramatta,
He's
they
a
go,
yes man.
okay, we're going to get rid of Brad Arthur, someone that has been loyal and has
Got them to a grand final.
done
Consistent finals
been
appearances.
through their
whenever-
salary cap issues, been through off-field incidents with a number of their players.
He's nurtured a new generation of players.
I just felt like the Parramatta board,
Drop the ball,
well, no,
much like the forwards had done. They were all dropping balls out there. Nah, I know where you're coming from. Yeah, you're
like-
right.
It's like if you fire Brad Arthur and you put in Trent Barrett, then I know all I need to know about that football club.
Yeah.
Which is, again, my impersonation
shockingly
of Parramatta.
run. Yeah. Silent. Silent witness. Yeah.
So,
100%.
yeah, they
Nah,
were-
man, I get it.
Their downfall this year. I thought, well, I mean,
If we're talking downfalls,
no, I want to go the other way now, because
you know who I'm talking about.
because I want to say how awesome it was. I'm one of those people. I don't hate that many people. I laugh at some that I'm like, what are you doing? But I have people that I'm a big fan of, and I've always been a huge fan of Shane Flanagan as a first grade coach. It was really good to see him back in.
This was the big redemption for him, wasn't it?
Would you say
could have
he
even
overachieved
100%
for the Dragons?
I had the Dragons finishing second last this year.
He got Zach Lomax as a winger to a Dally M contender.
Fucking insane. Started off the year as centre. He took one look at him and said, "You're a winger." Zach's like, "I don't know about that."
That was cool.
Really indicative of his performances this year. Leveled his game up completely. He's still young, and he felt comfortable in that position. I think a lot of the players felt comfortable. He got a lot of the forwards talking. He got a lot of them singing. Jaden Su'A found a new element to his career. Eisenhuth, you had players that were fucking stagnating.
Pretty ordinary,
really ordinary, man. And even though there's Mars to his game, Tyrell Sloan, he has potential. His moments, it's moments. They're not consistent moments, but there is something there. Just give him a couple of years, maybe. Who knows? The Dragons are a wild card for me next year. I got no idea where they're going to finish.
They've made a lot of moves in their roster. They lost
losing Lomax. That hurts.
They lost Lomax.
Yeah, but they got Val.
They lost, or they're losing Jack
Veteran.
Bird.
Yeah.
They released, I think
Ravalawa's gone. I mean, he wasn't really. He missed half the season through either suspension or bad form.
Unsure if Cody Ramsey is going to be back in the first grade picture.
The injuries, I think, will play a big part in that man's future.
It's sick that Lomax and Cook, and at one point Campbell Gillard was likely to join, but I think he's signed with the Titans now.
What do you think about Damien Cook?
Man, that's a good.
Not
that's
bad.
A good move.
He's better than Jacob Little. He got a lot more experience. I think he was in Illawarra Junior, wasn't he, Cookie?
Believe so. Yeah.
Shire or Illawarra, one of them, Helensburgh, wherever you want to call that.
Well, but that might be where he grew up and shit. But he also played for the Bulldogs. He broke in as a Bulldog.
Yes, he started his career as Bulldog, and then he was a Dragon, and then South Sydney.
Yeah, I mean everyone will associate him as a Rabbitoh. It doesn't matter.
Everyone knows that. 100%. If you're a Rabbitoh fan, he's your guy. He's your man.
But I'm looking at Ben Hunt. I don't know how much longer he's going to play for. He could be the next guy to break 400.
Really?
Well,
yeah.
I think played. He's up there? I think he's above 350.
Definitely played 350. We need to fact check that because I'm not 100% sure how many games he's actually played. Has he played more than Ches?
How many?
Ches, if he keeps wanting to play, he could crack 400.
How many's Big Darryl played?
320.
I think he's definitely played more than Jerry Evans.
I think you're right. Because they did. I don't remember there being a 300. Was there a? No, there was. I swear Ben Hunt had like a 300 game ceremony this year.
He's over 300, definitely.
I thought it would have been last year, but no, I don't think so. But you're right. He depends who they want to. Who do the Dragons want to make a play for once Hunt starts to move on?
Lachlan Galvin.
Yeah. 100%. A lot of people were saying Wishart.
Sam Walker.
Get the shot. Ooh, Sam Walker. A lot of clubs will be after him.
If you're the Dragons,
pending
the
contract
Raiders,
negotiations.
If you're the Dragons or the Raiders or even the Knights,
the Knights.
You're looking at Lachlan Galvin, Sam Walker.
And it's good time to tie in with the Knights actually this year. I think they overachieved, given how they dealt with their spine situation, the constant chopping and changing. Ponga, Fletcher, Armstrong, they all played fullback. Tyson Gamble, Jack Cogger,
Jackson Hastings.
Phoenix Crossland, Jackson Hastings. It is remarkable they were able to finish in the top 8, given how much inconsistencies riddled their spine system. It should have completely derailed them. It would derail any team. But I think it's the onus on defense for them was to be able to really mount pressure at really important times in games. We saw that so many times. That game against the Dolphins, the penultimate game to get into the finals, they defended so fucking well. Of course, that was on some Ponga brilliance, but look, it's not always Ponga. Ponga's not the man to fucking get them a premiership. It's a team sport. And there are a lot of...
I don't think if Kalen Ponga stays at Newcastle, he'll never win a premiership.
I don't think so. No. I don't think that they're even close to like a prelim yet. I don't think they're that type of team.
They got to a prelim.
They got to a semi. They didn't get to pre. They got smoked by the Warriors last year. And last year was probably the best I'd ever seen the Knights play. It was Dom Young scoring 22 tries. Hastings was on. Ponga was fucking flying. They were good.
That's right.
Well, prelim,
Warriors
good.
went on to. I wanted the Wars to get past Brisbane.
Come on, everyone wanted that. It was never going to happen.
Penrith, New Zealand
never going to happen.
would have been an awesome grand final. Not that we didn't get an awesome grand final last year, but yeah.
It'd be great to see the Warriors back in the grand final. Last time they made it was 2011. The last day I felt happiness in my life.
I think
as a Manly fan.
I think it's going to be a long time before the Warriors are back there.
What's their premiership window?
You want to? It's past.
Fuck. No. Give me hope. Come on. Give me something.
Okay, so
be diplomatic here. Come on. We've got to be
will.
real.
I thought this year they showed little flashes of what they did last year, but their squad didn't get worse. It got better.
It got better, but I think...
But Chance Nickel-Klogstad, who I used to be a big fan of when he played for Canberra.
Oh, he's so good for Canberra.
He killed that many plays this year.
Yeah.
He ran the ball when he should have passed.
100%.
He passed when he should have took the tackle.
Yep.
I don't know if he had a confidence issue, if maybe he felt like because Roger came back, Roger should have been
indicted to the role. Yeah.
I don't know what went through his head, but he was
would have been confusing. Would have been confusing because I think a lot of the time, you're all relying on Sean Johnson. What a season he had last year. Relying on him to get it done. He's getting injured. Then they started, mixing up the halves. Harris Tavita, Tamare Martin. Arguably played better when Sean Johnson wasn't there. Just when he came back, it kind of corrupted the system a little bit. They always just seemed to... You're right, your Chanza, he was running the ball when he shouldn't have. He was kicking it when he shouldn't have. They just got the finer things wrong.
It's a pattern of some players, man, and I just feel like on those 50-50 decisions,
disappointing.
He just got almost... Of all the Warriors games I watched, he got almost all of them wrong.
I'm going to give you 4 teams.
Okay.
Based on... You're going to rank them.
Yep.
Based on how bad their season has been contrasted to last year.
So first being the best of the 4, fourth being the worst?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Going South Sydney.
Yeah.
Going Broncos.
Yeah.
Warriors. And Parramatta.
Okay, so...
Arguably the 4 teams that have disappointed most this year. Given expectations of what people expected of them.
Disappointing was the Broncos.
100%. They're my number 1. And it's daylight. And I can't wait to get into the Broncos this year. I already made a video essay, if you haven't seen it, down for the Broncos, but so indicative.
In short, and when Adam Reynolds wasn't playing there, Ezra Mann was a fraud.
They found out the whole team was a fraud. I thought Carrigan wasn't pulling his weight. He tried, but he wasn't pulling his weight.
A lock forward's
a lot of his outside backs hadn't
shot caller, your leader, your captain of sort of strategy.
A lot of miscommunication in the attacking formations, man.
But Reece Walsh is on big money, and he's a fullback in that he plays really good footy and he's got some real flashy plays. I'll debate this with anyone who watches rugby league. Like, I'm a Roosters fan, and I'm not saying this because I have bias towards him, but James Tedesco will always be considered
James Tedesco
or thereabouts the best fullback. Not just because
in
of
my
the stuff
eyes, James Tedesco is the best fullback I've ever seen play.
He can read a game.
So intelligent.
He's football like you. Reece Walsh, when he was tasked with coming in and trying to lead the team around with Ezra Mann, he's not a 5th tackle option. He didn't generate anything, and so they banked on that, and they suffered because of it. So
100%.
You put that in there with the fact that Kevin Walters, who I like him as a person, but this isn't Dancing Bubble Kiss time, and it's not about who we like.
No,
he's not up to scratch as a first grade coach, in my opinion.
I completely agree. I think because he's part of the old boys. A lot of that club is shrouded in.
They've got a lot of loyalty.
A lot of bias. They've got a lot of loyalty. Gordy, Alfie. They love him.
Lockyer.
They all won fucking premierships together.
Yeah.
Of course, they're not going to back it. If he gets sacked, they're all going to fucking back their mate. They're not going to say, yeah, that was a real diplomatic choice there from the club. They made the right decision. Fuck no. Not going to happen. It's so indicative of the Broncos, man. Like, and you're right about players like Reece Walsh. I mean, Reece Walsh, he's got that explosive factor to his game. He's got the step, he's got the jump, he's got the speed. Doesn't have the consistency of work ethic of someone like Dylan Edwards or James Tedesco. Turn the game on a whim. So smart. Both such intelligent fullbacks.
Kalen Ponga has better X factor of winning games and leading your team.
I think Ponga should be the fullback for Queensland next year.
Reece Walsh, and look, it's hard to just say that he's done or he's busted. Like maybe
he's 22. You can't.
Maybe he's going to learn to add that into the tools of his game. But you asked me a question, and it was night and day for them to go from where they were last year to where they are now.
Shocking.
This is thought provoking, but was last season an overachievement based on the reality of where they are, or is this season just a significant underachievement because of all the factors?
It is such a hard question to ask. It's a really fucking hard question. It depends what angle you come at, what perspective. Yeah, and if you look at the history for Brisbane, what did they make? That's 4 years. He came through 21. What did they finish? 14th? 22? 9th. It's progressively better. 2nd. Now 12th. 3 out of 4 years haven't made the 8.
And it wasn't just that they made the grand final. 99 times out of 100, the way that game was played last year, they win.
Oh. They were fucked. It was 100 miles an hour, dude.
Penrith brilliance. But that's a 1 in 100 game where the team comes back and wins.
Oh, 100%.
It just so happened to be the game that we watched.
Yes.
But,
it's just a phenomenon.
To go from that to where they went to this year, man.
It's so, I think they're just too predictable this year. A lot of teams had their measure. It rattled them. Whenever you just got ahead of the Broncos, if you got yourself into a good attacking area, you're stuck to a system. You do your research. You watch your videos. You know how Reece Walsh defends. You know how the right edge defense works. The right edge defense leaked probably the most points I've ever fucking seen this year. What's Tony Staggs doing? In defense, he wasn't picking his weight up. Selwyn Cobbo, not picking his weight up. Half the team wasn't picking their weight up. And it's always controversial to say because these are big game players. But maybe it's time to wake up and smell the coffee. Do you know what I mean? If you're not going to fucking pull your weight in, what's the point? Tristan Saylor, he got exposed so much this year. He's going to the Super League. It is just hell on earth right now for the Broncos, and they have got
swig beer for the.
Swinging a Heineken as well. Man of culture. I like to see it. I've gone a little different route today. I've got my hard rated solo. If anyone's out there has the hard rated solo, I don't endorse it. I'm not sponsored by Hard Rated. Really nice. It's like an alcoholic solo. Mix that with some peanut M&Ms and a cerveza de sol.
All right, so you said 4 teams.
Sorry, I'm on a tangent here, aren't I?
Yeah,
Fuck.
let's stay back on track.
Yes.
The Warriors, the Rabbitohs, and Parramatta.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so second is Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what happened, man.
I think a lot of people are still a bit confused.
Bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah, agree.
Second year syndrome. Maybe.
Did they overachieve last year?
No. So I think when you.
It's Sean Johnson, man.
When you look at sport, whether it's a fight, a season of rugby league, a test series in cricket, whatever it is, if you're not scouted well and people can't do their homework on you, you can catch people by surprise. And I think the Warriors did that last year. No one expected Andrew Webster to take the team that they had from the year before and do what they did. And I don't think a lot of people, particularly in the off-season, they went from a team that was, can we play them twice in a year? That's 4 points to, fuck,
we don't want to play these guys
because they're a contender.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And I think if you're the Canberras of the world or, the Sharks of the world who could literally fall anywhere on the ladder, you're going to look at a team like the Warriors and go, okay, if we can get a win over them,
it sets the tempo for the rest of the season.
And I just think they
100%.
became that team, and I don't think they were able to carry that on. That's just my assessment.
No, I think you're dead. You're bang on. And you look at someone like Sean Johnson.
He missed
had his magnum opus last year. That was his magnum opus season. Undoubtedly, he was the best player. Regardless of what your fucking stupid Dally M points say, Sean Johnson was pound for pound the best player in the NRL. And this year, you're right, hindered by injury, missed a lot of games. They seemed lost, and they got off to a pretty bad start, lost a few games, and they weren't able to really recover. Lost a lot of early momentum. And it's a shame because I don't want to think that they overachieved. I don't think they did overachieve. I think they have a very, their squad was full of potential. The two best props this year that I saw were both Warriors forwards, Fanua Blake and Mitch Barnett.
Wade Egan started the year off blinding form.
He was my fucking Origin 9, dude. He was my dude. He was my guy.
I think,
what happened, man?
I think the Warriors, they had it was never outright said to the best of my recollection, but I think in reflection, a lot of people have said, why didn't you just move Roger to fullback? I heard Roger say, I didn't hear him say it, but I just read that he was quoted as saying that because they did so well the year before, he didn't want to come in and ruin
the system. 100%. You don't want to disrupt anything that works. What's the best thing? You know, if things are bad, you don't fix what's not broken. Don't fix what ain't broken.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
You could tell early on in the season that it was broken because there were things that were happening, and you're like the Sharks in round one. Mm-hmm. They started off that game, and you're thinking,
they're back. Yeah, they're fucking on.
And then they got done. Mm-hmm. I think there
should have been a point
in the season, and maybe this is part of Andrew Webster's learning as a coach, where he's got to make some calls and say, okay, rather than stick with my system and my tactics, which a lot of, particularly in the Premier League, not to go off topic, but you get some arrogant managers.
It's never off topic.
Who won't change their fucking system around to fit the players they've got. They'll make the players fit their system.
100%. And that comes with making some really brutal business decisions.
Roger should have played fullback.
100%.
As simple as that.
Yeah. World-class fullback. One of Dally M's fullback.
Had some injury concerns. And we can sit here and say, well, we can't wait for Turbo to go to the centres for the same fucking reason, right? But
it's wishful thinking.
Yeah, man.
You don't know how it's going to turn out. You have ideas. You have theories.
They should have at least tried it, because I think that would have made a difference. With the instability 100%. In the halves, I think Roger at fullback, for some of those guys would have been familial, and it might have, who knows where they would have finished, but I think maybe they would have won some more games and
look, if
been a little less.
If its and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all be living in chocolate land, and we're not. And that was the brutal reality for the Warriors. Big reality check. What worked last year just simply did not work this year. You can't go into the next season with the same formula. You can come in with the same attitude, same winning mentality, but there's two sides of football. There's your practicality, and then there's your mentality. They didn't complement each other well, and it's such a shame, because this is a Warriors side who have reinvented themselves. We've seen the Warriors, they've moments throughout their history. They've produced some great talent. Rocco Berry, man, so good. I love Rocco Berry. Mitch Barnett is a fucking beast. What a pickup that was. They're losing Fanua Blake. It's gonna suck, but they're capable. Picking up Fish. He'll want to kill it next year. I think he's gonna bring such a good.
Who?
Fisher Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Going to bring such a good mentality to that team next year, a winning mentality. And you don't know. We don't fucking know. Hindsight is a beautiful thing. We can assume, we can come up with theories about what's going to work.
I'm sure when the time comes, we'll do a season preview. I don't see the Warriors making the 8 next year.
I don't either. But I'm not saying that they're going to finish bottom. No, I don't know where they'll finish. I've got some very bold predictions, but we've kind of picked on the bottom 8 teams.
So, number 2...
We're still going. Forgot.
This is still good. Number 2 is the Rabbitohs.
Yes.
Sorry, no, 3 is the Rabbitohs. Didn't go far off what I thought. It's pretty clear they didn't want to play for Demetrio. It's pretty clear that certain players in that team would rather try and be victims of life than footy players. That's what they played to do.
You going to name any names, Luke?
I'm not going to.
For the safety of the channel.
They know who they are.
You're telling me to name names.
Nah, man.
Throwing it back at you.
They fucking, you've got people that are more interested in the politics of life, which is definitely issues that need to be discussed.
But there's politics in sport, but I don't want to talk about politics.
Your job is to play football. You are paid to play football. And if you do that shit, which a lot of them did, then maybe just keep those opinions to yourself, because otherwise people are going to hate on you for it.
And
'Cause
I agree with
they're
that to an
judging you on
extent.
that.
Yeah, I agree with that to an extent.
We look at Latrell, man. He had a really topsy-turvy year. How did he end the season? How did he show thanks for his fans?
Doing a little party dust.
He thought, I'm gonna be awesome. Get a bag of Colombian party dust and
He was
alleged
with the
bag of
unicorns.
Colombian party dust. I doubt it was baking soda.
Whiz Fizz. All the kids are doing Whiz Fizz nowadays.
for fuck's
It's the rave. Yeah, look, I agree with you to an extent, Luke, and I appreciate that you are a very passionate man about this stuff. While I agree, there are issues. There are issues that plague players' personal lives in football, and those should be addressed, whether that be racism or whether it be la-di-da, A to B. But your primary focus is to perform on the field
Play footy.
and back up what you're getting paid. Because if you're a player like Latrell, Cody, you can pay a shit ton of money. You can address those issues, but you got to focus. You have to be locked in and be able to perform and back up what you say. And in my opinion, there's no room for any bullshit politics in sport. I don't think there is. I don't like the mix of that. I'd like to see potential, player potential. That's why I watch this sport. That's why I've watched this sport for such a long time.
It's a good game.
Great game. Best game of all. Maybe.
But like even the club, man, they didn't look after him with that shit.
Oh,
No,
it's a
not
business.
going down the rabbit hole, but like
no, so to speak, yeah. Great reference. I loved it. You come up with that on the spot.
Maybe. No, I think that if you were to summarize their season with one sentence, it's star player who's had preferential treatment his whole time at the club.
Entitlement.
Star player things, and the club abandons him.
A lot of
Now
entitlement.
there's more eyes. And there's like it's a shit show.
Yeah.
Wayne Bennett's back. It's a new year, new season. They've
He's got the riding crop out.
good-looking squad.
He's got the riding crop out. He's gonna
Wayne's a general. He's a whip
crack
cracker.
the whip.
Yep.
Fucking love Wayne Bennett, man.
Play some footy. And look, it's probably an accurate statement to say, too, that the boys at that club didn't want to play for Demetrio for whatever reason.
No.
I don't know if it was a respect thing or maybe they had heard rumblings that Wayne was available. I know he's pretty well loved there. So, yeah. And then Parramatta, man, I've said what I need to say about them. They performed exactly how I expected them to. I wasn't shocked at anything that happened this year.
I thought I knew they were going to miss the 8. I didn't think they were going to come 14th. I thought that, with the Moses injury, that piled a lot more misery. But there were moments where you thought they were going to get the season back on track. They actually started really well. Blitzed. They played well against Manly. They played well against Canterbury. You thought, oh, okay, they're in. I don't know what it was. It's just a
Tigers game.
Tigers game, man. Fucking hell. It's what Parramatta lack in creativity that's just going to kill them. No, it's just the work ethic. And I'm not sure where the issues stem from. Whether that be a coaching thing, a system thing. Do players like playing with each other? Having your your two main guys out for half the season. I know it's shit. When they come back, you better back it up, man. You better back it up. Yeah. And I don't have much to say about Parramatta. I don't like Parramatta. Manly fan. It's a fucking rivalry.
But
I'm happy for their downfall, but
I reckon we end this episode with a couple of things you liked about the season. 100%. A couple of wow moments.
We've been so negative today.
I'm going to start.
Fuck.
I thought the Penrith games against the Dolphins and the Eels was some of the most exciting football
Nathaniel
you've seen.
Nathaniel. What's his biblical name? Nathanias.
He's the Messiah of Penrith.
He rose from the leagues club.
I think
out of a 5 guys.
I think Cleary, right? For me,
yeah, man.
3 premierships in a row, but this season for me, he went from I'm pretty sure when this guy's career is over, he's going to be immortal to this guy has single-handedly...
He's already a fucking immortal.
Like, he's gone over to that point. Like, it'll happen whenever
honestly,
it's appropriate.
In the games that he's played...
He was sensational.
Holy fuck. He literally, on his own, there were a few... when he came back, there was the 2-point field goal against the Dolphins, his hat-trick against the Dragons, and then there was the try against the Knights to win it.
And all of the pre-play in that last 5 minutes of the Parramatta game, where they scored 3 or 4 tries.
Unbelievable.
Fucking unreal.
He is he sets a new standard. I just don't think. I keep thinking there's no way. Like he's gonna fuck. He's gonna make a mistake. But his short kicking game, perfected against the Roosters in that qualifying final, where he dinks, he aims, he gets the ball, and you can see with his body shape, he's just shaping a little askew from the post, and he dinks it. And it just lands in the corridor of uncertainty, right where it just hits the post. All the Roosters players, they're all looking at the ball. They're not looking at where it's going to land. Bangs off. Old mate scores. Fuck. Like, and you don't look at that and think, it's just a fluke. He does that on purpose. I was watching with my friend Ben, and he was like, he doesn't watch much rugby league. Even he was looking at that going, fucking, that's on purpose. That is insane.
Angus Crichton.
Oh,
Return to.
it would have been disgraceful not to talk about how good this guy's been. Honestly, can I make a controversial opinion?
Maybe.
I think Angus Crichton, pound for pound, based on how good a player has been this year relative to their skill set and what they've done, Angus Crichton was the best player this year. Could have won the Dally M.
I don't disagree with that at all.
I'm glad you do agree with me.
I thought
You might, get a little erection being a Roosters fan.
No,
It's great.
I didn't like a lot of how the club handled the pre, post, and during.
A lot of disrespect.
Mental health.
A lot of disrespect.
Things. I thought that was this David Fafita bullshit. The label was the X Factor guy. Crichton's
Essentially pushed him out. Well, they put him in a position.
Rugby union. Then it was the Rabbitohs. Then it was we don't care. Then it was you're going to play.
Go back to rugby.
Cup.
Yeah.
Like the guy.
He could have gone back. He started
It would
there.
have been real easy for him to just go fuck this place.
Take the easy option and say that they've disrespected me. But he didn't do that. It's Angus.
He just
Big dong energy from Angus this year.
It was the chip on the shoulder, man.
Oh.
He had a phenomenal season.
And to just top it off, Wally Lewis, player of this year. Let's also talk about Origin. I know we didn't address Origin this year, and I don't like talking about Origin because it kind of sours middle of the season for me. It kind of just doesn't ruin it, but I just don't like the idea of a mid-season Origin series. I get a little bit cautious and a bit nervous.
Very interesting season because the first game you thought, fuck, we're in for another series defeat.
Three in a row,
game,
like
your second game, you're going, how could
what the
things
fuck?
be so different? And that's why game 3 was so anticipated.
Game 2, it wasn't a fucking 12v13. When you put Suaalii stays on that first match, they probably fucking win that.
Suaali's now a Wallaby player, so I have no allegiance to the guy, but I stand by what I said. There was fuck all contact to the head, and I don't care.
Diving into it. He was already going down.
Fucking
stupid, man. But that's the game now.
Look, if you make contact with the head, it doesn't matter. Like we referenced this about Big Nasty, Nelson Solomona, right?
Mm-hmm.
He made contact with the head, it is what it is. Suaalii, it was late, it was intentional. He had zero interest in pulling out of that shot. It is
how can you fuck it? Yeah, exactly. How can you fucking pull out when you
still
already
didn't hit him in the head?
Yeah.
It should not have been a send off.
It was like chest. Hit him with his chest.
Should have been a sin bin.
But Ashley Klein, he's got to show that he's the big dog. He has to say, well, Walsh is dead. I got to send off Joey. It's just ridiculous. And that's the state of the game. What mitigating circumstances are you going to fucking put into that tackle to avoid it from being less malicious?
Do you make contact with the
head?
Yes or no? There was no contact with the head.
I agree.
There was a bit of whiplash.
Yeah.
And maybe he hit the ground hard and recoiled, but
he could have played on.
This isn't ballet, people. This is rugby league. It's a contact sport.
He could have played on. He actually, didn't he kind of pass his HIA? The NRL were like, don't go back out there. It looks bad.
I don't know, man, but
doesn't matter. New South Wales won the series. Angus Crichton hanging his dong out, just being a dog.
Yeah.
He barked at his Queensland opposition. He got up in game 3. He was just barking at Cotter. He was like, Ruff.
He was a proper stallion this year. So
huge, massive MDE.
Great season, man. I look forward to the next one.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm as we record this, we're a couple of hours away from the grand final, so obviously be a good bow in the season.
Great game.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Good year of footy.
man.
Looking forward to the next one.
I'm so looking forward to a summer of sport. And that's going to include football. It's going to include cricket, golf, NBA, motorsport, whatever you guys are out there. Whatever you want to listen to, we will accommodate it. We will make sure that you are all intellectually fed and you are famished. But until then, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much, Parmigiana Playboy, for coming on with me today. This is the Australian Sporting Cartel signing off and making sure everyone out there is playing safe and having fun. Catch you all later.